And all season long, we've been talking about the Regimen, a daily checklist of the very best things to do for better health. And today, we've got the quiz that will customize what your brain really needs to protect it as it ages. Regimen experts Dr. Frank Lippman and Dr. Jennifer Caudle are both here. So Dr. Lippman, why do you think this may be the single most important part of the Regimen?
Well, with our modern day lifestyle, there are so many factors that deplete our brain cells. And when we were at medical school, it's a long time ago, we were taught...
It wasn't that long ago. No, it was a long time ago.
We were taught when you lose your brain cells, you've lost that function forever. But the good news is, we now know that that's not true, that you can regrow these brain cells. And how do you do that? With lifestyle changes. Good sleep, stress reduction, a good diet, targeted supplementation, and exercise. So you can actually reverse this.
We want to target it. That's the point of today's exercise. And Dr. Caudle, you created this quiz to assess our brain health. Why is this so important?
Well, you know, it is very important. And one thing that we have to keep in mind is that everyone's brain is different and unique. No two brains are created equally, so we speak. And with this quiz, the hope is that we'll be able to take the quiz and really figure out where we need to focus our efforts, whether that's on getting more clarity or stress relief or getting a memory boost.
So let's get to the quiz. Everybody at home, please get out a pen and a paper. All in the audience, just pay attention. It's only 3 questions. You can all do this. If you go to droz.com, if you happen to miss part of this, you can take the quiz there whenever you want. The first question. How often do you get a good night's sleep? Is it sometimes, never, or usually? So Dr. Lippman, how can lack of sleep affect our brain function?
Well, we know a lack of sleep literally shrinks the brain. But there's new research showing there's a part of our body in the brain called the glymphatic system.
Glymphatic?
Glymphatic. Huh. Very exciting, because what this does, it actually clears waste products, toxins from the brain, but it only works when you sleep. So it's the same thing if you a trash collection. If you don't collect your trash, after a few days, there's a lot of mess, there's a lot of trash. So if you don't sleep, that trash is actually toxins to your brain. So it affects your brain functions if you don't sleep.
So the second question, how often do you lose things? Rarely, sometimes, or constantly? And when you get that one done, I've got one last question for you. What changes have you noticed in yourself lately? You find it hard to focus? Do you feel like you're usually overwhelmed? Or is it true that your memory isn't as good, at least in your opinion, as it once was? Those are the 3 questions. Let's go on over to the Truth Tube. Let's reveal the answers. And we'll go through this pretty straightforward fashion, because you can figure yourselves out pretty quickly. The mostly A category, people who circled A's for those 3 questions, they are having an issue with clarity. So Dr. Caudle, what are the signs that your brain might need a little bit of help with its clarity?
Well, there was actually a number of the things in the quiz that you mentioned that really apply to this. You know, sometimes feeling distracted or unfocused, or I use the term scatterbrained. You're feeling scatterbrained, you just can't pull it all together. Sometimes those are things that indicate that we need a little bit more clarity.
All right, so if you're constantly late, you're unfocused, you're having issues prioritizing, this is what you're going to focus on. That's the approach to the A's. The mostly B's have a different problem. The mostly B's need to deal with their stress. So Dr. Lippman, how does stress affect how the brain functions?
Well, stress is interesting because it can affect your memory. It can cause a cycle of fear and anxiety, but it also causes inflammation, which depletes those brain cells. And at the same time, it inhibits the promotion of new brain cells. And we also know that like lack of sleep, stress shrinks the brain.
That's why when kids are under stress when they're growing up, they don't learn very well. That's one of the biggest disadvantages kids have in stressful environments, is they don't get to have brain cells prosper the way they should. It's the same in adults as well. All right, so just to recap for the B's, you're going to be a little forgetful and emotional because of the stress, but the other thing is you'll be depressed because you can't keep up, because your brain is unable to learn new things to allow you to cope more effectively. All right, moving on to the mostly C's. The C's are interesting because C is all about needing a memory boost. So Dr. Caudle, you say this might be a clever way to move forward. A lot of us need this memory boost.
A lot of us do, and a couple of the things that you mentioned in the quiz, we all often struggle with this a little bit. And I would say mild forgetfulness is unfortunately very common, forgetting where you put your keys. But it doesn't necessarily have to have a serious underlying cause. Sometimes it means that we simply need a memory boost, and that's one of the things we'll find by taking out the quiz.
So again, if you're having trouble learning new things, and we're going to figure this out in a second, or not concentrating, ideally, don't blame yourself. There are things you can do to fix that. So up next, we're going to customize and add on to your personal regimen for your brain. The one thing you should add today, for more clarity, better memory, and less stress. Let's move on to the customized plan for less brain stress. This is for all the folks out there who got mostly B's. And the deal is here, we want you to have weekly dates with friends. That's already on the regimen checklist. To make sure you don't skip this one, it's pretty critical. So Dr. Caudle, why is this so important?
I mean, I can't tell you how important this is. It's probably one of the most important things we're talking about today. And one thing I know from being a woman out there in the world is it's probably the last thing I think we often make time for. Yeah. You know, ladies, we often say, I don't have time, I've got my family, I've got work, I've got so many things to do. But if there's one thing that we do, we've got to make time for our friends. And there's a few reasons for that, and that's what you're asking. We know that social interaction actually helps decrease not only depression, but stress as well. And that's really what we're talking about here. And something else interesting that I saw was that there's been some research that suggests that people with low social interaction actually have the same equivalent mortality risk as those who smoke 15 cigarettes a day.
It's the same as smoking cigarettes?
Well, that's what's suggested. And that's why I really want people to take note. This is not just about getting together. It's really about improving your life in so many different ways. So as you said it, I want women, go out there, get together with your girlfriends, make a date at least once a week. So
take it away.
We got a calendar, and this is something I'm actually working on myself, so this is part of my goals too. So ladies, let's say Saturday, we're going to go to the movies, but let's get lunch before we go to the movies. That's very important. So that
You're gone all day.
Yes, we are going to be gone all day, but it's important. So that may be Saturday, and let's say maybe the next week, right? Because starting this week, we're going to go to church, but let's take a good friend with us, maybe who hasn't been to our church before. We do that.
Well, don't say. You're going out with your friends. You're leaving the husbands and the kids behind, so you can't go back-to-back days.
Well,
forget that.
Okay.
Go to church this day.
Okay, so no back-to-back days. All right.
And, how many of you would go out with your friends and tell your spouse or your kids that's your job, you have no choice? It's hard to do.
Well, they have to say that Dr. Jen and Dr. Oz told them to do it.
Well, we'll try. Just say Dr. Jen said it.
Let us know.
So but again, it's important this with your friends, not just family.
Not just family. Oh, and don't forget the weekdays, right? Like you got your coworkers go out after work, and then maybe a mani-pedi here. So I've mapped out your whole month, ladies, of fun. That's what you're going to do this month.
How do you make sure people actually keep the schedule?
Well, I think it's important to write it down. I actually am a big fan of writing things down, and the idea of having a calendar, whether it's on your phone or whether it's on paper, actually making a date is super important.
All right, let's move on to the customized regimen for better memory. And this is an important one because it's going to allow you to add daily visual memory brain teasers in. So why are these teasers so important for our memory?
Oh, these are so important. We know, and in fact, experts often say that keeping your brain active and stimulated is really, really important. And research has actually suggested that doing things like reading and writing, playing games and puzzles. This is our cue to be able to play games and puzzles, actually. So now you have permission.
So maybe Noreen here. Come here, Noreen. You say you want to boost your memory. Come get between us. I can help you.
Thank you.
So we got a cool brain teaser here. This is an exercise, an app called Elevate. It's available for Android and iPhones. Just play it together on my cell phone right down here. So it's a brain teaser. The game is about testing your short-term memory. You're going to have to listen carefully to a speaker and remember what she says. Then press the items on her list on the screen. Don't press the ones she doesn't say. So we're going to play this with you right now, all right? Audience, you guys can play along too. Dr. Caudle can chip in, Dr. Jen, if she wants. So press play. Now listen carefully.
My new roommate likes reading, painting, taking photographs, and collecting stamps.
Okay, now they give you 4 choices here. Now what's your new roommate do? Does she like to photograph things? No. Stamps?
Oh, thanks.
This one and this one?
Yes.
What was the first one you pressed on?
I don't know.
Just panically reflexive press? Okay,
We're expecting it to be sunny today, but later this week, that will give way to clouds, heavy rain, lightning, and a possible tornado.
Now, before you push anything, push the ones that they said.
Heavy rain.
Yep, tornadoes.
Tornadoes and... Oh, yeah.
Oh, you got it.
Yes.
Okay, this is for all the marbles right here, the last one.
Okay, here we go. Do it.
Hey, we'll forget the first one ever happened.
What time do you want to see the movie tomorrow? It's playing at 12:30, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and 7:30.
Okay, what time was it?
Okay, it was 2...
No, what was that?
Oh, no.
It was 4 o'clock to 2 o'clock.
Wait, she can do it.
One more, get the last one, 7:30. Go! Oh!
It's okay.
It's all right.
It's all right.
All right. You know what? You did fine. There's a
did
lot of
great.
pressure people around
You
you.
did great.
Listen, these are simple little quizzes.
Yes.
You're getting a score even. Enjoy it. You head over to DrOz.com or download my new app to get your customized regimen for optimal brain function. To share the quiz with your friends. Spread the word. We can all get healthier together.